Hello everyone, welcome to Bites of Light. Today we are going to deal with the topic the Preamble of Indian Constitution. Let's see what are the topics covered. Topics covered: definition of the Preamble, formation of the Preamble, and understanding the Preamble. Let's get to the definition of the Preamble. Coming to the definition of the preamble, we will learn two things that are general definition and definition through cases, and it means how Supreme Court in different cases have defined the preamble. Let's get to general definition. The Preamble of the Indian Constitution. Preamble is a preface of the Constitution and it tells about the Constitution. It is a mirror of the Constitution and displays the objectives and goals of the Constitution. Preamble also sets the ideals and goals which the makers of the Constitution wanted to achieve through the Constitution. This is a general definition on Preamble, which says it is a preface, it's a mirror, and it also consists the ideals and goals of the makers. That is, Preamble, it's a preface, it's a mirror, and it consists goals and objectives of the Constitution, and it also consists the ideals of the makers. Coming to definition through cases, in Golaknath versus State of Punjab, Supreme Court said that Preamble consists in a nutshell the ideals and aspirations of the Constitution. That is, Preamble also consists the ideals and aspirations of the Constitution. That was said by Supreme Court in Golaknath versus State of Punjab. Coming to the next case, Berubari Union and Exchange of Enclaves in 1960. Supreme Court said that Preamble is a key to open the mind of the makers. That is, to understand what the thinking process of the makers of the Constitutional Assembly was while they were making the Constitution and where they wanted the nation to head towards. Here, the preamble is described as a key, and it is to open the mind of the makers and to understand the thinking process of the makers and where the makers of the Constitution wanted the nation to head towards. So that was about the definition of preamble. Coming to the next point, looking at it from a different angle, that is through the angle of philosophy. Every constitution has a philosophy, and this philosophy is contained in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. That is, here it says that the preamble consists the philosophy of the Constitution. And one more point, preamble is based on the objective resolutions of Pandit Nehru. Let's learn more about the objective resolutions. That is in the part formation of preamble. We'll learn about objective resolutions in brief and also about the text of the preamble. Coming to the objective resolutions, before the framing of the Constitution had started, an objective resolution, that is the resolution that defined the aims of the Constituent Assembly. So objective resolution is the resolution that defined the aims of the Constituent Assembly, and it was moved by Nehru. Let's have a look at objective resolutions. Objective resolution, and if you read it, you can see that it talks about independent sovereign India, about the autonomous units. It also tells about sovereign independent India, its constituent parts, organs of government, and equality of status of opportunity. Also about justice, that is social, economic, and political, and freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, vocation, association, etc. Adequate safeguards to be provided to the minorities, and about integrity of the territory of the republic, etc. So, on the basis of this objective resolution, the preamble had come out and it was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Coming to the next point. On the basis of objective resolution, India's constitution gave institutional expression to fundamental commitments that are equality, liberty, democracy, and sovereign identity. And these fundamental commitments are reflected in the preamble. That is, objective resolution gave rise to the preamble, and preamble consists the philosophy of the constitution. Coming to the text of the preamble, it says that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation. And in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, this is how the text of the preamble reads. Coming to the next one, that is the third part, that is understanding the preamble. Here we are going to learn breaking down the preamble into different parts. That is breaking down the preamble into four parts. First part, that is the source. Second part, that is the nature of the Indian state. Third part, the ideals and goals of the Constitution. And fourth part, the date of adoption. So going to the first part, let's see the first part, that is the source. This is the preamble to Indian Constitution, and you can see that here it is written, we the people of India. So this is the source, that is here it is written that hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves thus Constitution. This means that the people themselves have given them the Constitution. That is source, that is we the people of India. It talks about the source of the Constitution. The people of this country have given themselves the Constitution, and it is not the gift of a foreign power but a gift of themselves. That is, the people themselves have given the Constitution of India, and the people are the source of this Constitution. Coming to the next one, that is part 2, that is nature of the Indian state. Here in this preamble, you can read sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. So this is the nature of the Indian state. Going deeper into it, sovereign, democratic, republic, socialist and secular. Here you can see sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. These words are not separated by even a comma. That means they are very composite and they exist together. Next point. Let's see, what do we mean by sovereign? It can make or unmake decisions with respect to itself without interference by any other country. As a nation, India is independent when taking decisions with respect to itself, and we do not seek interference from any other country. So that is about being sovereign. Coming to the next part, democratic. It means that Constitution ensures the creation and existence of government at will of the people through elections. That is, we have a representative democracy and we do not have direct democracy. The citizens do not take part in the lawmaking process, but representatives of the people does. That is, we have elections and we do cast our vote and then we get a government. Democracy depends on us and a democratic government depends on elections. Coming to the next part. In R.C. Podial versus Union of India, the Supreme Court said that democracy denotes people's power and participation of all citizens in the polity. That is, democracy denotes people's power, that is, power of the people and their participation of all citizens in the polity, and that is through elections. Coming to the next point, republic. The head of the state is an elected individual and not a hereditary monarch, and our head of the state is the president. Here, the republic means that the head of the state is an elected individual and not a hereditary monarch. That is, we have a head of the state and President Ramnath Kovind, and we don't have a head of the state who is a monarch. Coming to the next point, socialist. It indicates the incorporation of the philosophy of socialism, which aims at elimination of inequality in income, status, and standard of life. It was said by Supreme Court in D.S. Naraka versus Union of India. The term socialist was initially not in the Constitution but was enacted by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1976. That is, there is inequality, as you can see here, in the case of income between the rich and the poor, and the socialist nature of the state tries to eliminate the inequality. That is, you can see here also, the money or the power or the resources are concentrated mostly in the hands of the rich, and the poor are not able to balance it. So the socialist nature of the state tries to eliminate it. Coming to the next point, that is secular. Here you can see all the religious symbols coming together. The secular means that the state protects all religion equally and does not uphold any religion as the state religion. And the word secular was also instituted by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. This is a glowing achievement for the Indian democracy, as our neighbors like Pakistan, Bangladesh and Burma has particular religion as state religion, and there are a lot of problems in these countries. Coming to the next point, secularism in Western and communist countries. The Western concept is that the government will not interfere in the religious beliefs and aspects of the people. Example, after the September 11 attacks under the Twin Towers, there was a mosque which got demolished. Some of the people wanted to rebuild it, but there was a cry against it as well. But then President Barack Obama said that we cannot interfere in the religious aspects of the people, and the people can practice any religion. That is, the building of the mosque was approved, and in Western countries, the government doesn't interfere in the religious beliefs. This is the image of the Twin Tower on which the attack was made, and under this was the mosque. Coming to the next point, that is in communist countries. In communist countries, religion is the utopia of the people, and there the people cannot freely profess the religion. Example, in Russia, prior to Russian Revolution, there were 8,000 churches, and after there were only 1,000 churches. These are the images of Russian Revolution and the church getting demolished. Coming to the next point, that is in China. Uyghurs is a religious minority belonging to the Muslim community in China. They have certain restrictions for prayers during the holy month. That is, these are the images of Uyghurs, which are a religious minority from the Muslim religion in China. You can see this is Uyghur camp guarded by Chinese army. This is the area of Uyghurs. You can see this is China and this is the area of Uyghur, which is also sharing borders with the Kashmir region of India. So in China, Uyghurs have certain restrictions for prayers during the holy month. So that is about China and the practice of religion. Coming to the next point, in the case of India, India protects and promotes every religion. Example, if a person wants to go to Mecca, the government will subsidize it. And at the same time, if people want to go to Amarnath, the government will do the same. That is, the government will subsidize that journey also. That is, they support, they protect and promote every religion in India. Here you can see people in Mecca, people from Islam religion in Mecca holding Indian flag. And these are the images of Amarnath Yatra. Coming to the next point, that is, the summary is that in Western countries, the government do not interfere in the practice of religion. That is, in countries like US. And in communist countries, the government interfere and restrict the practice of religion. That is in China and Russia. And in India, we protect and promote every religion. This was about the nature of the state when it comes to secularism. Coming to the next point, that is part 3. which consist of goals of the Constitution. Let's see. The goals include justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Let's see one by one. Goals and objectives of the Indian Constitution. First one, justice. Social justice. It is a comprehensive form to remove imbalance and harmonizing the rival claims and the interest of different groups and sections in the social structures or individuals, by means of which alone it will be possible to build a welfare state. This was said by Supreme Court in Dalmia Cement versus Union of India 1990. That is, social justice is a comprehensive form to remove the imbalance and harmonizing, reducing conflicts among the rival claims and different groups and sections in the social structure or individuals, and only by this means a welfare state can be built. That is, a welfare state means the government is there to help its citizens, and we depend on social justice in order to remove the inequality and imbalance. That is, to reduce the imbalance, we need to have social justice. Coming to the next point, let's see what happened back in the ancient society. Back in the ancient society, in the later Vedic period, there were divisions between the people on the basis of occupation, that is, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and the ones outside the Chaturvarna system were untouchables and they had no right. That is, if this is Chaturvarna system, then Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras were inside this Chaturvarna system and the untouchables were outside. They had to face a lot of discrimination. That is, examples of discrimination include the untouchables will have to jump into dust from the road if any person from upper caste comes from the opposite side, and the untouchables will have to use a utensil to spit. That is because they shouldn't spit on the road as not to pollute the air inhaled by the upper caste. There is no meaning of independence when dignity and social justice are not provided to the citizens. Social justice is mainly to remove the imbalance. This is another scene of untouchability where the untouchables were not able to directly access water from the wells. Coming to the next point about political justice. That is, political justice, that is the absence of arbitrary distinction between man and man in the political sphere. That is, it is connected with universal adult suffrage, and whosoever above the age of 18 can vote in the election. Thus, the person is given political equality. No two people are different when it comes to the political sphere, and each person has the right to vote after one attains the age of 18. That is, we all go for vote after the age of 18, and all these people are equal in that sense. That is, equal in the political sphere. Coming to the next point, there is another example. That is, if a member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha is convicted of a crime for a period of imprisonment of more than 2 years, then the person was not disqualified but given a 3-month window, and during that time they can go to court, and if convicted they are given another 3-month window and they can go to another higher court, and the person doesn't cease to be a member. That is, this particular provision is against the political justice. If you are a convicted member, then you doesn't lose your membership, and then you are given a 3-month window when you can approach a court, and if convicted by that court, then you again get a 3-month window where you can approach another higher court and you doesn't lose your membership. So this was against the political justice and it was challenged in the Supreme Court. That is the case in which Lily Thomas versus Union of India. The Supreme Court said that if convicted, the member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha will lose their membership. That is, Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav ceased to be a member of the House in the case of fodder scam. Ms. Jayalalitha ceased to be the Chief Minister in the case of disproportionate assets. So then the political justice was re-established in this particular case. Coming to the next point. Coming to economic justice, that is the ideas to make equality of status meaningful and the life worth living. That is, if there are individuals with no means of livelihood, the government should provide subsidies to them. That is, it is the responsibility of the government to feed them because these individuals do not have the capacity to feed themselves. And in a state which is poor, the government will have to come forward and provide justice to the marginalized. So this particular economic justice talks about providing subsidies to the people who cannot feed themselves in order to provide economic justice, that is to make equality of status meaningful. That is, you can see MGNREGA, that is right to work. The government gives 100 days of paid work to the people who are not able to do any other job. And also government provides subsidies to the farmers and many other sections. That is in order to bring economic justice. Coming to the next point. Other objectives, that is liberty, that is freedom of thought and expression. It states that a person can think whatever one wants and in whichever fashion and can express it through art, cartoon, paintings, etc. That is, we have liberty, we have freedom of thought and expression, and we can express our expressions through art, cartoon and paintings just like this. That is through paintings, that is through street theaters and street plays, and also through cartoons. We can express ourselves. Coming to the next one, equality. Here, equality means banishment of inequality. That is, we have the right to equality as a fundamental right, and the state shall not discriminate the citizens on the basis of religion, caste, race, sex, place of birth. And every citizen is equal before the law, and according to Article 17, untouchability in this country has been abolished. That is, we have abolished untouchability and there is banishment of inequality, and the state shall not discriminate the citizens on the basis of these domains. Coming to the next point, fraternity. Fraternity, the feeling that we are all children of the same soil and motherland. That is, India is a diverse country in culture, language, scripts, cuisine, dressing pattern and kinship. The objective of the constitution is to provide fraternity among these diverse communities. That is, fraternity is the feeling of brotherhood. That is, even though we are different in many ways, we are rooted in the same soil. That is, we can see here symbols of different religions holding the same flag, and that is of India. And you can see Hinduism, Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam. These are the major religions in India, and India is the common thing. So it means even though we are from different religions, we belong to the same motherland and we are the children of the same soil. Going to the next point, that is dignity. Dignity means the state of being worthy of respect. That is, the fraternity can never be enjoyed unless dignity is provided to members and it is maintained. And in 2013, the transgenders were identified as the third gender, and as a result, it diversified the gender dimension of Indian society. That is, even if people are differently ranked by skill, when it comes to dignity, they should all occupy the same level. You can see the transgender activists. That was about dignity. Coming to the next point, Nanabhai Palkhiwala has said that Preamble of Indian Constitution is the identity card of the Indian Constitution. Nanabhai Palkhiwala was an exceptional jurist India had produced. This is Nanabhai Palkhiwala, and this is about him. Coming to the next point, is Preamble a part of Indian Constitution? Let's see. In Berubari Union case, it was said that not to be a part of Indian Constitution because in the Parliament, when the bills are made into acts, these bills are also included as the preamble to the acts made. But these preambles were not part of the law. And when it comes to the case of Indian Constitution, the Constitution is considered as the law, and as the bills are not part of the law, the preamble was also not considered the part of the Constitution. But In case of Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, it was declared that the preamble was discussed in the Constitution Assembly and also was voted, and the preamble was the last thing to be voted and adopted by the Constitution Assembly. And as the preamble was discussed and voted in the Constitution Assembly, it becomes a part of the Indian Constitution. And yes, preamble is a part of Indian Constitution. Coming to the last one, that is the fourth part, that is date of adoption and enactment of the Constitution. You can see that in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves thus Constitution. So the last part describes the date, that is 26th day of November 1949. That is, on 26 November, the people of India gave to themselves the Constitution, and it was adopted on 26 November 1949 but came into force on 26 January 1950. Let's see what is the reason because of which it came into force on another date. In the historic Lahore session of Indian National Congress in 1929, it was declared that its objective is Purna Swaraj, that is complete independence. On 26 January 1930, India celebrated the Independence Day for the first time, and because of this reason, the Constitution came into force on 26 January, that is the same day. Images of the Lahore session. This is the Indian national flag being hoisted on 26 January 1930. So guys, this was about our video. In this video, we have learned about the preamble. The topics covered were definition of preamble, formation of preamble and understanding the preamble. Definition of preamble in general definition and definition through cases. General definition, definition through cases, very union case. Philosophy, preamble being philosophy of the Constitution. Formation of the preamble, that is objective resolution in brief and text of the preamble. The objective resolution and the text of the preamble, and then understanding the preamble, that is breaking down the preamble into different parts, that is 4 parts. About the first part, that is the people. Second one, nature of the state, that is sovereign, democratic, republic, socialist and secular. About sovereign, about democratic, R.C. Podial versus Union of India case. About republic, socialist and secular. And the way secularism in western and communist countries, the case of China, the case of India, and the summary of it. Then the third part, that is the goals, that is goals and objectives of Indian Constitution. Justice, social justice, the problems in ancient India, the examples of discrimination, political justice, examples, economic justice, liberty, equality, fraternity and dignity. About Nanabai Palkiwala and the preamble being a part of the Constitution or not. And the last one, that is date of adoption and enactment of Constitution. And about Lahore session of the Indian National Congress. This is about our video guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe for updates and press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.